Welcome to another edition of Crucible Catch Up. I'm joined by Imran Sidat from Snooker Forum. Imran, the first match we've got to talk about at this sort of halfway stage, if you like, of the semi-finals, Ronnie O'Sullivan against Judd Trump, resumed at 4-all yesterday, and that was an intriguing session of snooker.
It's an absolutely brilliant matchup. It's the one everybody's been waiting for. I mean, you saw that, and I mean, Ronnie came out and just took it away a little bit, didn't he? Got to a 9-7 advantage. He played some brilliant snooker, pulled away. I think the last frame of the session was a big one for Judd. I think it was 9, was it? He had a chance to go 4 clear, but Judd came back and took the last one. I'm sure it was only 2 frames to keep it close.
That was absolutely huge, that frame for Judd Trump. How impressed have you been by Judd in the manner in which he's managed to close out some of these key frames? I mean, he came from 8-3 down against Shaun Murphy to win the quarter-final. Now, we know he's trailing against Ronnie O'Sullivan, but, you know, he's had a dip in form. He's obviously gone away from his first round knockout at the China Open, regathered himself, regrouped, and brought the type of game and quality to the Crucible that we know he's got.
Yeah, he saw in his last match against Shaun Murphy, he was 8-3 down and he came back to 8-all and 9-8, so he showed that kind of spirit and determination. And I think yesterday he showed that he's still got that fighting quality. He's looking to regain that form which got him to the final in 2011. I think he's sticking in there because I think when Ronnie gets ahead, he's a great front runner. I mean, Ronnie ended the session 4 clear, but I still think Judd's got a great chance to come back. I mean, the first couple of frames this afternoon will be key. I think he has to win at least 3-1 in the first session. He's got a chance, but it's still anyone's game.
Well, let's talk about their second session. So they went from 4-all to 9-7, and then, of course, they came out last night for round 3, as it were, and the noise in the Crucible was incredible. You could have easily mistaken that level of excitement for the final.
Yeah, I think you remember 2 years ago when we played Higgins in that final session. You did the intros, of course. I mean, that was the best atmosphere I think I've seen in the Crucible, but that was a close second. It was just incredible, the noise in there. Yes, like I said, it was more like a final, but I mean, they both seemed to be inspired. I think Ronnie came out and played really well. He opened up that 4-frame advantage, then a 5-frame advantage. I think he's looking like a big favourite to seal the deal and get to his 5th final.
How important was that frame where Judd could have closed to 10-8, but he missed that final blue, and suddenly O'Sullivan is 11-7?
I think that's a huge difference. In it. He opened a 4-frame lead for the first time. That was a big chance. I think a lot of people think when Ronnie's in front, it's tough to claw back. I think when he potted that final black, you could see the grit. He gritted his teeth to show how big a frame it is. So Ronnie knows as well. I think I noticed as well, he was leaving Judd a lot of long pots. When you leave Trump long pots like that, he's taking his chances. But I think Ronnie overall is the clear favourite now to get to the finals.
A couple of things going on in the match away from the table. We had the breaking wind gate, if we want to call it that, a machine in the crowd with replicating the noise of a trump, as it were. I mean, it was a little bit of light amusement. Have the papers made too much of it?
I think it came out of the blue, didn't it? I think Ronnie O'Sullivan, all of a sudden, he just got warned by Michaela Tab, and he was taken aback by it a little bit. There was like a shock on his face. He was like, I wasn't doing anything. It was just like his cue was sticky.
Well, that was the gesture. Yeah. So we had the two things going on. We had the fart machine in the crowd, and then we had Ronnie, as you say, being unofficially warned by Michaela for a lewd gesture. That definitely seemed to me, well, from watching it back on the BBC website, that seemed to me to be something of nothing.
Yeah, I think nobody noticed anything in the arena. It just came out of the blue. But I think Michaela Tab was obviously keeping an eye on it, and she thought it was worthy enough to give him a warning. Like you mentioned, the Trump machine, if I can call it that, it seemed to be coming from Trump's box. He went off twice as he was down on the shot, and it seemed to put him off, but he held himself together to pot the next ball, and I think he's still set up very nicely for this afternoon.
It just goes to show you that you know, those two on the table with all the sort of warnings and the antics going on up in the crowd, it's a box office draw, this match.
Think about O'Sullivan, everything he does seems to be box office, isn't it? Anything, if it was anybody else, I think nobody would take much notice. If anything O'Sullivan does is sort of hyped up and sensationalised somewhat. And so, like yesterday, I think there was a lot of rewrites in the evening because after what happened. I think there was an incident as well in one of the frames where O'Sullivan asked for a re-rack and Trump declined, and then I heard him mutter, "This is painful," and he also said, "I want to go home." But this comes to O'Sullivan. I think he lost his head a little bit in one of the frames, but then I think he lost that frame where he was warned. I seemed to rattle him a bit. Also, when he was asking Michaela Tab for an extended rest in one of the frames, and when she brought out on a piece of equipment, he started playing around with it. He said, "What's that called?" I think he's lost his focus a bit. He left the arena there, and think that last frame as well, Trump had a chance to close it to 2. O'Sullivan held himself. I think he made a 90-odd break in that last frame to open up that 4-frame advantage.
Yes, he is in the driving seat, but as you say, Trump will come out all guns blazing, but needs a really, really quick start to close down from 14-10. And just finally, I mean, you know, in a way, we have to have some sympathy for Ricky Walden and Barry Hawkins. Massive opportunity for them. They've both had great seasons, and as a semi-final, it's almost at the moment feeling like a little bit of a sideshow to the Trump O'Sullivan semi-final. Interesting developments in that match. 6-2 Ricky led. They came out and, without registering a break over 50, Barry Hawkins wins the session 5-3 and closes the overnight gap to 9-7.
Yeah, it was an extraordinary afternoon session, wasn't it? I mean, I think that Ricky Walden started really well, and it's been tough for the two players because everybody's attention has been on the other semi-final. But I think Ricky's just been professional throughout the whole tournament. I think people have been talking about O'Sullivan not being behind in this tournament, but Walden hasn't been behind either. So I think, like I said, Hawkins was struggling there. You could see him kind of overawed by the situation a little bit. But somehow he won 6 frames without a break. I think it was on 36 was his highest break for until frame 15, was it? And then he hit 47. He had a chance on a pink to break that, and he fouled it. You know, I think which cued a lot of laughter in the press room. But I think he did extraordinarily well to bring it back to 9-7. And that's finally poised as well. It could go close tonight. Yeah,
great stuff. We are at such a delicate stage of the championship. Just 2 really interesting semi-finals because of the different context that Ronnie's won it before, that Judd's been to the final, and that Ricky and Barry are both hoping to make their first appearance in the final. Loads more to talk about, no doubt, as the semi-finals wrap up. Imran, thanks for your company. We will have a couple more Crucible catch-ups. It's getting so tense here as we close in on the crowning of the 2013 Betfair World Snooker Champion. Join us again as we get very, very close to the climax.